how to stop work anxiety. For me, I probably perceive it a little bit different than most people. So I don't get stressed out because I'm working from home, and I don't get stressed. I didn't get stressed out when I was working in the office. Now I had an idea in my mind at that time. I thought that I never wanted to leave the office because that's my little place to go, to get away from the house, to be able to just go somewhere else that was different and break the routine. And that was just my story. It wasn't really true, because now that I'm working from home, I have a new story that it's great to work from home. And a lot of people would love to work from home because that means you don't have to leave. You can just stay here. And if you want to go for a walk, you can go for a walk. You can just pause your work and do what you want to do. So for me, I'm aware of what I'm doing. And I was thinking about this before I made this video. What am I actually doing that's different than most people, that I'm not struggling or suffering? So I could be here working on stuff here and I'm getting stuff done. I'm really kind of in the zone when I'm doing it. I'm not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, or I'm not even thinking about in 5 minutes time. I have kind of a sketch. I've kind of a gist and bullet points of what I have to get done today. But in reality, a lot of the times you're not going to get all of those things done. So I'm not let down either way, because I'm not anticipating whether it's going to go right or wrong. I'm living with information that's available to me in each moment. So I can, if people come over, I can get up and I can go out and I can just start chatting. And I'm not thinking, Jesus, I should be back doing my work. I know I need to get my work done. But while I'm interacting with people when they're around, I'm not stressed out about being back at work again. I still know I have to do it. And I will actually go, you know what, I'm just going to go back in here and do the work. And I can sit down and get to work and not think, should I be outside? You know, they're all in the garden, it's a sunny day, should I be out there talking to everybody? I'm going with the flow. I have a priority list and my family are on the top. Now, you can't leave them on the top. Sometimes you have to kind of move things around and you have to put your family on below the work, because the work needs to get done to be able to pay the bills so that you can be around your family, or otherwise it'll be on the street. So the priority list is adjustable for me. It's kind of like I can move things around, but I know deep in my heart that on the top of the priority list is my family and the people that are important to me, the things that are important to me. But I see it different. It's like a schedule to me. I say, okay, I need to kind of go and get this done so I can afford to be around you. Like, you know, so I can go back in and I can sit here and do my work and just be there in that moment. And I want to share this with people as best I can. It's not something that you can't microwave experience, as the saying goes. And you have to kind of watch stuff like this. Like watch people who are doing it, who are talking the talk and walking the walk. They're not just going, you know, focus in the moment. Yesterday's history and tomorrow's a mystery. I want to know, is that person living by those rules? Because someone asked me in a comment, I was doing a video on how to talk to, you know, people, how to pay attention, how absorbed you are in your work or in things that you're doing. And I got a comment and it says, do you actually talk to your friends and family this way? And it was about being able to talk to people and pay attention to them and be absorbed in what they're doing. And I can reply back, well, I'd imagine if you asked them, they would say yes. And for me, I'm actually, you know, talking the talk and walking the walk. Whereas a lot of people that are doing stuff like this and giving advice, if you really look into their life, they're struggling a little bit, not as much as they were. And their intention is they want to help people to feel better, which is good. And if they don't do it, nobody gets help. So it's all good. But sometimes people are giving advice, but they're not actually doing it themselves. They're kind of saying, you know, do what I say, but not what I do. And for me, I feel like I am actually doing it. As I said, I'm talking the talk and walking the walk. And I want to share this with people. I want to be able to share what I know, what I've learned through my experience of what didn't work. The only difference between me and people that are not feeling like this is I've made way more mistakes than everybody else, you know, and I found out what didn't work. And the reason that I kept going was because I didn't feel bad about failing. I didn't feel bad about doing the wrong thing because I trained in a way to let go of bad feelings. So I had a lot bigger advantage than most people. I got a lot more momentum on being able to keep going without falling off the horse and staying on the ground. And it's not about falling off the horse, it's about how quick you get back up. And a lot of people don't know what I know. And I understand that and I get it. What I'm trying to get across in these videos is that there is a way to just quieten your mind down, but you have to be persistent. I don't even like saying you have to, you want to be. Because it's like, you know, if I say if you don't do this, then you're not going to be happy. It's not that. But if you don't do it, nothing changes. That's as simple as that. And it is going to feel unfamiliar and weird to even sit, if you're still watching this video, for people to even sit through a video that's what, like, it's 8 minutes now, coming up to 8 minutes. Very rarely you'll see people sitting down to an 8-minute video. I'm watching statistics on video watching, and you can see people's attention drop off like after 30 seconds. And they're not going to learn anything. They're going to get snippets of new information all the time, and they're going to keep moving on to new stuff, and they're never going to get really good at anything. But it's turning around, it's changing now. People are sitting down and watching more long form content like this, and apparently they're more interested in people like me just rambling and just having a normal conversation that's not scripted, that's not lined up with bullet points. You know, that stuff is valuable too. But people are starting to go, you know what, I'm not learning anything from this like fast fix. There's a difference between instant gratification and happiness. There's a difference. So I know I started this video off how to stop being anxious at work. What you have to do, start learning how to do, is being able to just get to the point where you can stop going inside and thinking about anything but now. Just think about that. You're always now, and when you look out in front of you, the world doesn't mean anything unless you go inside to your meaning making machine and start trying to make sense of what's going on. And sometimes you might go back into the past. You might be thinking about being in work. And when you're in work, you might be thinking about, should I be with my family? Why am I working like this all the time? And in that moment, if you watch a person's eyes, they're going to be looking particular ways, because in order to think about anything that makes you feel anyway, good or bad, you have to look inside. And if you see a person's eyes where they're looking, and most people are looking down to the left, that means they're talking to themselves. And they'll keep coming back out. Like someone might say, oh, me and the wife are going on holidays, and you'll see the person doing this. And obviously they're saying something negative to themselves, like, why can't I go on holidays? How come they're all having a better life than me? And if you see them looking up, they're visualizing something from the past. If they're looking up this way, if they're looking up this way in general, it's not a fixed rule. They're seeing things in the future, and they're making up stuff that hasn't happened yet. So a person, in order to do the problem, so example, if I was to do it, so let's say I was here, and what always happens here is people come around and have family around, and they're all out in the garden there, and they're, you know, having a laugh and a chat, and I'm in here, and I'm kind of half tuning in, and I want to go out and hang out. If I was to have the problem, here's what I'd have to do. I'd have to go outside, and I'd have to start talking, you know. And then if I was to start to feel bad, every now and again you would see me doing this. I'm grand, yeah, I'm fine. What I would be doing there is thinking, I should be back at work. Why am I out here in the garden talking? I want to stay out here, but if I stay out here, then I'm not going to get the work done, and I'm not going to be able to make money, I'm not going to be able to pay the bills, and if I can't pay the bills, I'm going to be on the street. I would have to do that kind of stuff in order to make myself feel a particular way. And if you catch these patterns, there's patterns to your behavior and there's patterns to your thinking. So if you were doing it, and if you said to me, Paul, I have days where I'm just feeling shit, and I'm at home and I'm thinking about being in work, and I'm in work and I'm being home, I would be watching for common cues, common information that would tell me that you're doing the problem, and there's a strategy that you are not consciously aware of that you're doing. And I would be looking for patterns to your story, patterns to your thinking, patterns to your behavior. And I guarantee you I would be able to spot patterns. And once I make you consciously aware of them, then they can't be automatic anymore. You'll catch yourself doing it. You know, so in order to feel anxious in work, you have to do something. If you didn't do anything in your mind, like if you chopped your head off, you wouldn't have the problem. And it's not something I'd recommend you do, but it's your mind is creating a scenario, but you're actually doing something, and it may be automatic, and it may be that you're not consciously aware of it. And that's my job, is to make people consciously aware of their unconscious thinking. So you're bringing what's unconscious, that means stuff that you're not aware of, it's just automatic. bring it up to the conscious working memory, and now that it's conscious, now you can play with it and mess with it and break it, do something different to it, and then put it back in so it's not the same again. And then the next time you try and do that automatic process, there's something different about it, and it's not as automatic as it was, you know. And you change a person's unconscious thinking. That's why counseling and therapy is very helpful, if in that moment that they're actually changing the unconscious stuff. So sometimes talking about the problem and rehearsing it and thinking about it isn't actually changing what's unconscious. So if you talk about it too much consciously and you say to a person, oh, here's what you're doing, and you know, you should do this instead, that's logical level thinking. That just makes you more informed and more sophisticated about talking about your problems. But it doesn't change the automatic process that when you go home and you know you're supposed to clean something, the kitchen or something, but you don't feel like it, that means you're aware now that you're not cleaning the kitchen, and you know why you're not cleaning the kitchen, but it doesn't help you to clean the kitchen because there's something unconscious inside that hasn't changed yet. And that's where the problem was created. It was created through an unconscious process, and it might have been through a learning process over a period of time, or it might be in a moment where you felt something intense and it just kind of made you feel terrible about the particular thing that you like doing. There's no point in getting into scenarios of what could be making you feel like that, because that doesn't help all the time. Knowing why you're feeling bad doesn't help. It's knowing how you're feeling bad, how you're doing what you're doing. That's what is going to change it. So my advice in this video, it's just a rambler. It's not, I didn't think that I was going to be coming up with any tips at the end of it, but I always like giving something, is try your best that when you're doing something to not talk to yourself about it. Just have no story at all. And let everything pass without judgment. Like, so you're just like, your thoughts are passing by and they're like people in a park. You're not judging them. They're just like, yeah, you know what, just let them pass by. And they're like leaves blowing down the road. You know, you're not paying attention to them. And they're like raindrops. Doesn't mean you have to follow every raindrop. And thoughts are like raindrops. They just keep disappearing. And just try and get into the habit of watching my videos and getting more ways to shut the fuck up in your head, to stop talking, and just be able to not react to things, but interact with things without making sense of it. What does it mean? Does it mean this or that? Should I be at work? Should I be at home? Stop shutting on yourself. Like, watch my videos and I'm trying my best to give you so many different ways to quieten your mind down and just do what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is working. And I can still have challenges in my life and not feel depressed or not feel overwhelmed, because in order for me to feel overwhelmed, I would have to do something in my mind to make myself feel bad about all the shit that's happening outside. So as best you can, just pay attention to only what's beyond the tip of your nose. If it's not beyond the tip of your nose, it's not real. You're trying your best to stop pretending it's the past. You know, is it the past you're thinking about, or is it a thought? You know, it's both. But really, at the end of the day, right now, if you're thinking about the past, it's just a thought. It's just your imagination. The future, is that your imagination about the future, or is it the future? And why would you imagine the future? Like, who would waste their whole life trying to imagine what the future could look like? It plays out in an unpredictable way. So you're better off just leaving and handing that over to whatever that divine intelligence is, that it's called a possibility or uncertainty, whatever you want to call it. So get into the best habit you can to not finishing any stories in your head, not trying to put meaning on anything outside, and just be interacting with reality instead of responding to it all the time and thinking, what does it mean? Why does it do that? Who left that there? Why would somebody do that? Where am I supposed to be? Why shouldn't I be shouldn't do it? And you're not doing all of that stuff. If you catch yourself doing it, just try your best to not finish that story. Whatever it is, it usually has a bad ending on it. You know, when you're talking to people and there's a group of people, you're inside your head and you're looking down. And if you catch yourself when you're walking, here's something, since we're rambling. I was out walking and I met this person. I won't say a male or a female, just in case they're watching this and they go, that was me. You know, and across the road, I seen the person and I said, how's it going? And I hadn't seen them in a long time. And they turned around and said, oh, great. It's like, they said something like, I'm like a farmer, I'm happy, but I'm not, something like that. I couldn't pick it up. But basically what I think they were saying was, I said to them, you look great. And they said, yeah, I look great, but like a farmer, is it a but, and they put a negative spin on it. Basically, they were trying to say, I look great, but I feel like shit. And they had earphones on, and they were walking along. Now, they did look great. They looked like they were in the gym, like, you know. And I walked by, and the first thing that came to my mind was, if that person kept their head up, they wouldn't be feeling as bad as they are. The person that I was saying hello to was walking with their head down. And when you walk with your head down, that means you're in your inner dialogue. A person that looks down to the left is talking to themselves. So if you're walking along and your head is down, that means you're having a conversation and you're not paying attention to anything around you. If that person keeps their head up, which I mostly do when I'm out walking, I keep my head up and my eyes up. And you can't talk to yourself when you're looking up. You can do it a little bit, but it's not intense. You can't get into the full in-depth conversation with yourself. So if you walk along with your head up, and keep your attention outside and be aware of everything outside without judgment, you can't feel bad, because in order to feel bad, you have to look down and go inside and say something to yourself about what's happening outside or what happened yesterday. So that's as best as I can do in this video. I just thought I'd shoot it because of a question I got asked and something I heard last night talking to somebody. I thought it might be helpful for some people. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be about. It's all about the same thing, coming back to the basic principles of just quieting your mind down. And if you need extra help off me, just go onto the website, have a read through it. If you feel like we're a good fit, then request a free discovery call with me. I'll spend like half an hour or so on the phone talking to you, telling you what I can do. You'll feel better after it. And if you decide you want to work with me personally, then we can make arrangements for you to go onto my system and schedule in a full session. And we can break down any barriers that may be holding you back and change how you think and feel. Hopefully these videos will help you to be able to do it on your own. But if you feel you need that extra bit of help, give me a shout and I'll talk to you then.